packages or offerings. And so, so we're still doing all of those kind of things.
I love that. Well, thank you for coming on, and thank you for sharing about all of the new transitions. We're so excited for you. And everybody that's listening, make sure that you stay up to date on their website, www.wemakelife.tastebetter.com. Flavor Spice Shop and Specialty Foods. You can find them on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok at FlavorKC1.
The number one.
Yep. Is their handle there. And April 17th and the 22nd are listed on the website, correct, for events that are going to be downtown Lee Summit Farmers Market,
correct.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. And I think if I'm missing something, let me know. But, guys, you can find all this information online.
30 seconds.
Out and support local vendors. Go support Flavor Spice Shop, Specialty Foods, and go say hi to Amy at these events. Thank you again, Amy, for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And we have had a wonderful show today. We will be back with you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Same place, same time.
Different show.
Different show. That's right. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, everybody. And we will see you tomorrow.
You're listening to the most powerful sports station in the country. Sports Radio 810, WHB Kansas City, the power of sports.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the number one motorsports show for over 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Todd Surprise running the show. Who's running it back there at 810?
Jay Powers.
Jay Powers. Jay, doing a good job back there at 810. And for my partner, Kirk Elliott, I'm Scott Traylor, saying that we love to join you. And we got a great show lined up for you today. David Gravel, Jamie Ball, and Kenny Brown. We got a good show lined up today, Kirk.
And David Gravel is the newly crowned World of Outlaws champion who wrapped things up a couple of weeks ago at Charlotte at the World Finals. And so we spoke with David on Monday's Mostly Motorsports show. We'll play part of that conversation coming up here in just a little bit. Not a lot of racing going on, Scott. We got Turkey Night Grand Prix tonight. This is one of the crown jewel events for midget racing. I think the other two big races are the Chili Bowl and the BC 39. This is the third of the crown jewel events. Logan Seavey won his second straight Chili Bowl back in January. Cannon McIntosh won his first BC 39 in late September, and we'll see who wins tonight in the 83rd edition of Turkey Night Grand Prix out of Ventura, California. They had practice last night out of Ventura. I think the weather's going to cooperate tonight, so weul see who
do you think
becomes the winner of the Turkey Night tonight.
Kirk, who do you think's going to win?
Well, I think you look at Kyle Larson. He's out there driving a car as crewed by Paul Silva.
Other than Kyle Larson, who do you think's going to win?
I would look at Tanner Thorson, who was in a Tom Malloy car and won at Bakersfield, led all 30 laps at Bakersfield the other night. That he's a former Turkey Night winner. He won back in 2015, the last year they had it out at Paris Auto Speedway. I think he's got a pretty good shot at it. There's 55 entries in the field tonight. 27 of them are rookies.
Can you believe that 27 are rookies? Can you believe that?
Yeah. Yeah, I can believe that. Can you believe it?
No, I can't believe it. I can't believe there's that many rookies trying to make the Turkey Bowl tonight.
Well, there's not a lot of drivers that race full-time midgets anymore. I mean, how many do they have full-time racing the USAC midgets this year? A lot of those guys that used to run full-time in the midgets have gone sprint car racing wing sprint cars are where it's at right now, and a lot of guys have gone that direction. There's still midget racing going on. USAC still has a full season of midgets, but not everybody runs a full schedule of midgets throughout the whole year anymore.
Hey, Kirk, let me ask you this. Do you think wing sprint car racing is hurting the midgets? Do you think it's hurting the midgets?
To some degree. I think the big crown jewel event, I don't think it hurts the Chili Bowl because everybody still shows up at the Chili Bowl.
Right.
There was still pretty good car count at the BC 39 this year. Some of the bigger events like Turkey Night, I mean, 55 is a pretty good car count for Turkey Night Grand Prix. The major events, no, I don't think it hurts, but if some guys wanting to go out and run a full season of midget racing and that's it probably hurts that a little bit. I mean, we talked with Kenny Brown, who we'll have on later on in the hour. He has the Power Eye Midget Series. I don't think that series is once what it was at one time. And that's why Kenny Brown has started to focus on 410 wing sprint cars and some other things with Power Eye.
You got to look at somebody like Brady Bacon leaving USAC to go run wing sprint car racing.
And he was running more of the non-wing sprint cars, more so than the midgets. I'm not sure that Brady's even been in a midget outside of the Chili Bowl. But he's leaving the non-wing sprint cars, which, let's be honest, the non-wing sprints don't pay as much as 410 wing sprint cars. The more higher-paying events are out there, that's where the money is at. So a lot of these guys who used to run exclusively with the USAC and non-wing sprints and midgets are gravitating over to run either the High Limit or the World of Outlaws or a pick-and-choose schedule.
Or like you said, Kirk, a pick-and-choose schedule. I think that the High Limit Series is taking away a lot of drivers, don't you think?
Well, but on the other side of it,
I mean, they pay better than anybody, don't they?
Well, World of Outlaws events still pay pretty good money, but the High Limit races, their schedule has probably more higher paying events than maybe even the World of Outlaws, but World of Outlaws still has the bigger crown jewel events that pay huge money. So there's kind of a trade-off right there. But High Limit, if you just go to their run-of-the-mill schedule, I think they're going to have, 75 events next year. They've got probably more higher-paying events throughout the season than maybe the World of Outlaws. But still, World of Outlaws has the bigger crown jewel events.
I would say that Ryan Timms has a shot to win that Turkey Bowl tonight. He runs second to Tanner Thorson the other night.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, he's full-time midget driver for Keith Kunz Motorsports. And,
right.
Of course, he hasn't – he ran the full-time as the midgets for the last couple of years for Keith Kunz, so he's probably been in a midget more than some of these other guys have. This year, but he would certainly have a shot at. Cannon McIntosh would have a shot at.
I would say that as well.
Dason Persley, who's leading the USAC points right now, he's been struggling lately, and that points championship is on the line tonight, Scott. We went into the weekend a week ago. Dason Persley had an 87-point lead on Cannon McIntosh. Now it's down to 30.
Right.
30-point separation with one night to go. So not only do we have the Turkey Night Grand Prix winner to decide tonight, the USAC Championship still on the line as Dason Persley is hanging on to a 30-point lead. And I say, a lot of times people say, well, you ought to be able to hang on to that. But with the way Dason Persley has been running lately, you got to say that McIntosh might have a shot at it tonight.
Buddy Kofoid and Carson Macedo, they had ugly flips the other night, didn't they?
They did. Buddy Kofoid got into the back of another car at Bakersfield the other night, and he went flipping. But the wildest ride has to be Carson Macedo, who looked to me like he just kind of biked it out. That track was rough.
It was a little rough.
They had a lot of rain out there at Bakersfield. I suppose they did well just to get the track prep to have the event the other night, but Carson Macedo got up into the rough stuff down there in turn one, and he biked it up and went flipping pretty wildly. Macedo, if you remember, he won a race here a week ago. He swept the night a week ago at Thunderbolt Raceway out in Tulare. Won not only the midgets but the wing sprint cars that night as well. So, and then he finished second at Merced one night out there. So he'd been running good in that 99 car, but not so good the other night at Bakersfield for Carson Macedo.
Do you think Dason Pursley, he started 15th the other night, he run 12th?
That's not good enough, is it, if you want to lock down a championship?
Right.
You got to do better. Cannon McIntosh ran third, and Pursley ran 12th. 30-point the separation. Pursley's got to pick it up a little bit if he wants to make sure he solidifies his champion. He's been leading the whole year. If you remember, Pursley got off to a great start at the Chili Bowl this year when he came from the D main to finish third in the A. So he's run well in a midget all year. We saw him win a race out in Melville, the season opener back in May. He's won a number of other races, but recently Pursley's not been running all that well in that Chad Boat number 86 car. So he's got to pick it up tonight if he wants to, lock in that championship, because if you have this kind of a separation tonight, McIntosh third and Pursley 12th as they were the other night, this thing could get nervous time. You think that Dason Pursley might not have rested easy last night? You think might be losing a little bit of sleep?
Right.
I don't know.
Do you think Logan Seavey's got a chance?
He's got a chance to win tonight. He's a former Turkey Night winner. He won this race in 2021. He's the defending midget champion, and he's driving for Abacus Racing. He drove for Kevin Swindell the last two Chili Bowl wins, but Logan Seavey, he's been running not as strong as you would think he normally would in a midget. He finished 9th at Bakersfield the other night after starting 9th. Started 9th and ended 9th. Of course, there wasn't a lot of passing going on in that race, but Seavey hasn't necessarily, he's won some races, but not necessarily been at the championship level here over the last several races.
Hey, Kirk, why do you think that Kyle Larson pulled off the racetrack?
I don't know. Maybe because he started too far back. He pulled off when Carson Macedo flipped it during that red flag. Larson, who started, what did he start, 17th?
Corey Day pulled off too as well.
Yeah. Day started 24th. So maybe it's because those guys were too far back. The track was rough. There wasn't any passing going on. Why bother? I don't know for sure why Larson pulled off the racetrack, but he pulled off when the red flag period happened after Carson Macedo's wreck. So maybe, it could be, Scott, that they want to save their equipment for the big show this weekend.
Yep, I would agree with you, Kurt.
They don't want to tear stuff up.
Right.
And if you're starting that far back, you got little chance of winning. I would suspect that if Larson had started up towards the front and had a chance to win the race, he would not have pulled off. But, hey, when you're running back there, starting 17th, and that's about where you're running, that far into the race when Macedo crashed, he's probably thinking, why bother? I'm just going to pull it in and save the stuff.
Kirk, we need to talk about the MLRA going to be running down at Springfield Raceway.
It's not an MLRA sanctioned event because MLRA is not going to be anymore next year. It's what they call an MLRA Founders Race. And we talked about this the other day. The Jerry Hoffman, the promoter at Springfield Raceway, they have decided to go ahead with the MLRA Founders Race, even though there is no longer an MLRA. Lucas Oil decided to drop that series this year. But that event is going to happen in late February, early March. I'm just looking at the details on that.
February 28th and March through March 1st.
That's it. And so
Friday's 5,036 to win, and Saturday 10,036 to win.
The original founders were Ken Essery and Randy Mooneyham. They had the series up until 97 when Cowboy and Harriet Chancellor took it over. They ran it until 2012 when Lucas Oil purchased the series. And the shocking news, probably not shocking to a lot of people, but a couple of weeks ago, Lucas Oil decided they're going to shutter the MLRA series, which leaves a void for open late model racing in this part of the world. That's kind of, what's surprising about that, Scott, is they had 11 full-timers on the MLRA tour this year, which is not bad when you consider
that's pretty
how many
good.
Travel a full series. 11 to a dozen drivers is about what you'd expect.
Right.
And they got 11 full-timers to run that series this year. So, and the events that they had rain problems this year. A lot of events were rained out during the middle part of the season. But they got a lot of events in the end, and they had a lot of name stars and pretty good car counts of the events they had. So I think at this time, when you look at all that, it is surprising that they decided to shut it down when they did.
Well, I am shocked that they shut it down, to be honest with you, because MLRA has been a sanctioned body around this neck of the woods for a long, long time, Kirk. What year did you say it started?
1992. Ken Essery and Randy Mooneyham started that series. And Lucas Oil bought it in 2012. And, it's just surprising with the number of full-timers they had out on the tour and car counts that they had, the events that they had over the last few years. Flow Racing carried all the events that it would shut down this time. But Lucas Oil made a statement. They said they want to focus all their resources toward the Lucas Oil late model series, the big series. Ernie Leftwich, who is the director of the series, is still an employee of Lucas Oil. He's now the general manager and assistant general manager and competition director at Lucas Oil Speedway. So he's still got a job. But I think it leaves a void for big-time dirt late model racing going on. But getting back to Springfield Raceway and Jerry Hoffman, they decided to go ahead and have that MLRA Founders event late February, early March. Hope the weather cooperates. You never know that time of the year if you get a race in.
Have you heard that Ty Gibbs is going to be running the Ventura Turkey Night? Did you hear that? Ty Gibbs.
Ty Gibbs?
Right.
Yep. He was the first one of the drivers to take advantage of the new Gibbs rule. So
I didn't see him on the list. He's on the entry list tonight.
I saw a post.
There it is. Yeah. How about that? He's a rookie then. Just like Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is in the field.
How do you think Kyle Busch should do?
Well, I think he's got a fast enough race car. He was at practice last night and also at Bakersfield. Looked like he's got speed in the car. They had some mechanical issues they had to get worked out, but I think Kyle Busch could certainly qualify for the A-Main. But, it's all about where you qualify. You got to get a good qualifying spot. Should be enough time to crawl yourself up from the back of the field with it being a 50-lap race. So I think that, or it's 98. I think it's 98-lap race. So there's plenty of time to work your way up from the back of the pack, even if you don't qualify all that well. So, but Kyle Busch, he's been racing micros a little bit. He's been at the Tulsa Shootout last couple of years, but first time at a midget was a couple of weeks ago when he tested out at Millbridge. But he was at Bakersfield the other night. I think he might do better than people expect. What do you think?
I think he'll do better than most people would expect.
I mean, he was out here at Sweet Springs during the Cup weekend here at Kansas Speedway and raced. He had his son Braxton out there racing. Didn't Kyle Busch in one of the micro classes finish in the top 2 or 3 out there at Sweet Springs that weekend? I think so. He was racing both nights out there. So, It draws more eyeballs to the event, so I think it's a good thing. Ty Gibbs, give it a shot, see what happens.
All right.
Should be a good show.
Man, we got a really good show lined up for you. David Gravel, Jamie Ball, and Kenny Brown is going to be joining us here in the next couple hours. Kirk, David Gravel won the World of Outlaws championship, didn't he?
His first World of Outlaws championship. Of course, Brad Sweet was the 5-time winner ahead of David Gravel. And we all know that Brad Sweet decided to start up the High Limit Series with Kyle Larson, and that's where he ran and won the championship this year. So with him gone, that opened up the door for others to step in, and David Gravel outdueled Carson Macedo, and Donnie Schatz, I think, was third, and Buddy Kofoid fourth.
Do you feel that David Gravel would have won the championship if Brad Sweet would have been there?
He had a chance at it. It's hard. It seems like, when you look at the history of the World of Outlaws, Steve Kinzer won 20 World of Outlaw championships. Donnie Schatz, a 10-time champion.
Right.
It seems like in the World of Outlaws especially, you start winning championships, it's hard to get it stopped. Brad Sweet had 5 in a row. That once you win that championship, and they're out there on the road 90 dates a year,
right?
That there is a lot of pressure. If you've been there and done that, I think it makes it easier for you to do it again, which I think now that Gravel's got a championship,
right,
he's got to be the favorite to do it again next year, don't you think?
I would agree with you, Kirk, that David Gravel, listen, I'm kind of rooting for Donnie Schatz to win another championship, just so you know.
He just got to be more consistent.
He's got to be more consistent.
I mean, Schatz has won races.
He was 240 points back.
Yeah.
From David Gravel. He needs to do better.
Schatz has had too many bad nights. David Gravel didn't have very many bad nights at all. A bad night for him was like finishing 10th. You just can't have those really bad nights. I still think that Carson Macedo ran well enough at the end of the year that you got to count him as a major contender to win the championship next year, along with David Gravel. Because let's be honest, Scott, Carson Macedo was really running better in the last 2-3 months of the season than David Gravel was. It's just that Gravel had run well since the start of the season to the end. But Macedo was a championship caliber driver with Jason Johnson Racing and Phil Durst at the end of the season.
All right, we're going to take a break. Track Talk is brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. When we come back, David Gravel's going to join us next here on Track Talk. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn.
You got 4 minutes, gentlemen.
Was the night before Christmas when all through the house, not a creature was stirring, except the 2024 Subaru Share the Love event. Subaru will donate $250 to a charity of your choice to help those in need this holiday. These charities include the ASPCA, Make-A-Wish Foundation, Meals on Wheels, and the National Park Foundation. And locally, you can choose the Hillcrest Transitional Housing. Have some fun this holiday and fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
What's got everyone talking?
That would be Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill on 135th and Null and 119th and Quivira.
What's got everyone talking?
Everyone's talking about our daily specials, the best burgers and wings in town, great selection of beer and spirits. Oh, it's the dozens of TVs showing your favorite game.
That's what's got everyone talking.
This is Giannis, and now we're talking at Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement. Past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. My team knows injury law. We can help you understand all of your legal rights so that you don't get cheated.
DM Law knew what to do and got me $350,000.
Mike's got this.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. Rosehill Gardens is celebrating its 110th anniversary this month. 110 years as Kansas City's most professional landscaping company with 12 designers on staff who specialize in landscape design, maintenance, irrigation, and lighting. They work with you from start to finish by providing personalized services that are planned to perfection. And don't forget about their beautiful winery and event space, as well as a full-service retail garden center. It's all at Rosehill Gardens. Check them out at rosehillgardens.com.
2 minutes.
This year with something beautiful and timeless from Diamonds Direct, a stunning eternity band, a pair of classic diamond stud earrings, something new and eye-catching from a world-class designer, or maybe you're looking for that perfect engagement ring or a fabulous timepiece. At Diamonds Direct, we have the perfect gifts for the season, starting at around $500. Come and let our experts help you pick out that headliner gift, or for some fabulous ideas, see the online seasonal gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. You can even chat now with a virtual assistant for the ultimate convenience. Whether you connect online or in person, you're guaranteed to get the extraordinary value, ironclad warranties, and white glove service Diamonds Direct is known for. And to help make your purchase even more affordable, we've got special financing so you can spread out your payments. Get directions, details, special showroom hours, and our holiday gift guide now at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Jeff Montgomery here. If you're a man dealing with symptoms like frequent urination, multiple trips to the bathroom at night, or a weak urine stream, do what I did and call Miva Medical and discuss new, cutting-edge, non-surgical procedure to eliminate these symptoms, which is covered by insurance. As Kansas City's leaders in minimally invasive, non-surgical treatments, I trusted them to help me. Dr. Brown and Dr. Williams are professional, knowledgeable, and put me at ease. If you are experiencing these symptoms, go to miva-medical.com. That's
30 seconds.
Make Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway your game day headquarters this season. Watch all the games on their giant screen TVs and tackle the area's best game day food and beverages with all your friends. Get in on all the hockey and football action this winter with Pin Play and ESPN Bet. Pin's online sportsbook now live in Kansas. Score big this season at Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway, however you want to play.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Back. It's Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Listen, folks, the roads are slick and slippery out there right now.
Well, especially the overpasses and bridges.
Yeah,
Be careful out there, folks.
Bridges and overpasses are, and I just saw another live update on Facebook. They will be covered by, in the next hour. So just know that.
It's the first big winter event of the year, which is always kind of scary because people not used to driving.
Yeah,
this kind of weather. It's been a while.
For some reason, it always seems to be the worst one of the year, the first one, if it's a big one. And obviously, it's early morning. People are out there shopping because of Black Friday was over with.
Hey, Todd.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. That new graphic that you made right there, I think it's excellent.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. We had some.
For those of you watching online.
Yeah. But for people that are driving around here in Kansas City,
don't watch your phone.
Yeah, don't watch your phone.
If you're listening to us on Sports Radio 810 WHB, you can watch us live at racingboys.com, our Racing Boys Facebook page, and the YouTube channel.
Right. We're all up and live right now. But yeah, it's going to be slick today, guys. So if you're out there shopping, getting your Christmas shopping done today, be careful out there. Sidewalks are real slick as well. So don't go running up onto the sidewalk, and you know what'll happen.
Right.
You'll bust your butt. You'll bust your butt. So
right.
you know that's a coming. So
yeah. So it's that time of the year. This happens. So David Gravel is the reigning and the newly crowned World of Outlaws champion. We had a chance to visit with him on Monday on our Mostly Motorsports show, and here is part of that conversation.
Hey, you picked up a lot of money with the World of Outlaw Championship. I think it was around $350,000. Talk about that, and what's that mean to your team?
Yeah, huge. For our whole team, not one of us have ever won a World of Outlaw Championship before. So to give that to Todd Quiring, who's been doing it a long time and never has gotten one, and for Cody Jacobs and for me and for Steven and for Zach, it's the ultimate success in our sport, and we were able to accomplish that. So definitely very special. It's good for everybody's resumes, and definitely something we won't forget.
Hey, talk about you won 15 races this year, and you have 44 top fives and 60 top tens. That's a pretty remarkable season, isn't it?
Yeah, I think our top 10 percentage was over 90%. We had several rainouts. I think we ran under 70 events this year. So, pretty awesome year. To win the nation, or lead the nation in wins was awesome. To win the championship, awesome, and then to get that third crown jewel at Kings Royal, can't ask for much more. There's still room for improvement, and we had a couple weekends we wish we could, have back and run a little bit better at Houston and Knoxville, but that's how competitive our sport is, right? No matter if everything's clicking on all cylinders, it's hard to perform every single night.
What do you think that you need to improve on the most? What is the most important thing for you to improve on?
Yeah, I think that we're qualifying well, we're racing well. I think it's just, had one race this year where I got into a crash, and it was definitely my fault, and then another one where, I wouldn't say it was my fault, but it cost us, but I could do things different to avoid those situations. So I would say just trying to be perfect in the side of me controlling on what I can control and not crashing and getting into those work areas or DNFing. We had two really bad finishes this year, but luckily all those other races this year were so good that kind of separated us from everybody else. And you just never know. It could be different next year, and those two races could be your defining moments on winning the championship or not. So as a perfectionist, those are things I got to clean up.
Hey, what is it to win the Kings Royal? That's a pretty important deal right there, isn't it?
Yeah, I've won the Knoxville Nationals, won the Williams Grove National Open, have won the Houston, High Bank for 250, and I haven't won the Kings Royal, and I've ran that event probably more than any other event that I've been in, and it's obviously the prestige of Eldora, and then just that week we had, we won the Brad Doty Classic that week, and then we won the 100,000 to win high limit race that week, and then to cap it off with the Kings Royal. Just a dream week, and just super, super blessed to be able to feel those emotions, feel the success, and just have the opportunity to, show my talent.
Talk about Todd Quiring and what he has meant to sprint car racing. He's got Houston Speedway up there, Jackson Motorplex. He's done a lot for sprint car racing. Just talk about the relationship you have with Todd.
Yeah, it started back when I drove the CJB car and they sponsored the team, and built a relationship with him and his kids and his family, and he means a lot to our sport. Building the Houston High Bank Nationals, one, bringing the track back from the dead, and bringing that back to the community, and then the first year of a big event, he pays $100,000, and in year two, he's paying $250,000. Pretty remarkable to put himself, at risk, and he's doubling down, and he's continuing to do it and pay the big money. So, pretty awesome stuff, and need people like him in the sport to push and push others and push other facilities, and it's all about growing the sport, and I feel like he's done a good job at that of presenting nice facilities that are good for the fans, good for the racers, and top notch. For our sport to grow, we need to have places like Charlotte and Knoxville and Eldora and Huset's, and we need that. And he's very good for our sport.
I think Huset's is probably one of the nicest racetracks in the country. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a very, very nice facility. I think it has a little bit of ways to go, but it has such a unique viewing experience being on a hill like that. So you have a great viewing point of the racetrack. But he has big plans for Huset's. So you think it's nice now, it's only going to get better.
I happened to be up there when you won that $250,000 a year ago. Shall we say, winning that for the owner there was a big deal? I'm kind of understating that, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely a big deal. Definitely helps them recoup some money from paying out all that money too.
Yeah, that's right. So the other big event that we talked about that I remember you won here about 5-6 years ago was the Knoxville Nationals. You got that on your resume this year. At the middle part of the season, there was nobody running better than you. And then you head into the latter part of the summer and into the fall. Were you trying to maintain your points advantage at that point? Was there anything that changed from the high that you had at the Kings Royal through the fall? You were maintaining, but you weren't at that level that you were in the middle part of the summer. Just kind of talk about what happened there late July heading into the fall.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of goes through that at some point. And it just, we race so much that you're going to have peaks and valleys, and we were just okay at that time. Huset's, we didn't really perform how we wanted to, change a couple things and kind of fix them on the final night, and, just little things. It doesn't take much to get off. Knoxville didn't, like I said, didn't perform really how we wanted there as well, and, it's just part of our season. What changed? Nothing really changed. I think truly we had just odd racetracks. I thought Huset's was pretty wet and pretty fast from what it normally is. And then we go to California, and a lot of those tracks were unique. But, really California wasn't too bad. We only had really one bad night on the West Coast. Other than that, we were in the top 5 or, we got a win out there. So it was just pretty much we were average, and then, Buddy Kofoid and Carson Macedo really turned it on, and they found their stride where, at that point, they won maybe 2 races in the whole season, and then, Buddy and Carson end up, getting, 5 or 6 or 7 wins in a, 20 race stretch. So it just more, we just kind of maintained, and, they just, found something, and they capitalized on it.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. It's more about them stepping up and running well, more so than the way you were run. But you ended up the season strong at the World Finals. You won a preliminary race there. You had to feel good about the way you ran at Charlotte.
Yeah, once we got back from the West Coast, I thought we were very, very strong. Lincoln, obviously, we had some dramas there, but Williams Grove, we qualified good every night and ran solid, and Joliet went really well and was on the podium both nights there, and went to Memphis and ran second at Memphis, and then, won the first night at Charlotte, which pretty much sealed it up for us, and to back it up with a 4th and then a 2nd on the final night. Our last stretch of races was really, really good, so it's just the way it goes. You fight and claw all year long, and you spoil yourself, you spoil the fans when you don't win for 10 or 15 races. People start asking questions.
Now that you've got the championship as a driver, how does this help you win another one for next year?
Yeah, I think it takes a little bit of the pressure off. You say now you know what it takes and how to do it, and I don't know. We're going to find out next year, but we'll go out and bring our Husitz 2 car out, and Cody's going to be on the wrenches, and Zach will be doing the tires, and we'll have a new piece of the puzzle with our car chief next year. But a lot of our crew's back, and me and Cody are as confident as ever. And I truly still think the best is yet to come. It would be a dream to put some seasons together like Donnie did. Pretty remarkable. Not long ago, he was winning 20 races a year for several years in a row. So that would be cool if we could get to that level. I think we're capable of it, but you literally nearly have to be perfect, and that's hard to do in that long of a season.
You're right back at it. You don't have much of an off season now. What is it, late January? You're right back in Volusia.
Yeah, I believe it's early February, I hope. But
right.
I'm not doing anything this off season. No Chili Bowl, no Australia. I've been a Chili Bowl a decent amount the last couple of years, but I could have went to Australia this year and do that high limit deal, but I decided to spend it with the family. The wife has a career, and just my guy's growing, and he's not ready to go to Australia and enjoy himself. So eventually we'll go to Australia and make a vacation out of it. But this would be a off season of R&R, and just get prepared for next year.
David Gravel finished 80 points ahead of Carson Macedo in the championship battle for the World of Outlaws. Kirk?
There was some question of, would David Gravel and Todd Quiring leave the World of Outlaws and go high limit racing? I never thought
I never thought that.
No.
Because Todd Quiring is really loyal to the World of Outlaws.
Seems to be. And
Yep.
they've got it all set up again next year with the High Bank Nationals up there at Houston Speedway and Jackson. And he owns David Gravel's car, and they're all in with the World of Outlaws, as he pointed out during that interview, ready to go at it again for next year. So they're locked and loaded for a repeat run for the World of Outlaws title next year.
All right, Kirk, we're going to take a break. When we come back, are we going to play another interview?
No, I don't think so. I think we're saving the other 2 interviews for hour number 2. So probably just more chatter with maybe some comments from the chat line over here. We got a lot of people in the comment section. So.
Jamie Ball and Kenny Brown is going to be joining us in hour number 2, just so you know it. Anyway.
And that hour 2 exclusively on RacingBoys.com, Facebook, and YouTube. Hour 2, you can only hear it on
Facebook. Boys. You can watch it on Facebook, you can watch it on YouTube, and you can watch it on RacingBoys.com as well.
Coming up top of the hour, we have an abbreviated version of College Game Day. Kansas playing early today, 11 o'clock here on Sports Radio.
Kirk, you're such a college geek.
Hey, we got a lot of college football today.
You watch every game, don't you?
Every game that's close and interesting. 2 games last night were really good. Nebraska and Iowa came down to the wire, and the overtime game between Georgia and Georgia Tech was pretty interesting, with Georgia coming out on top.
Hey, Kirk, how about that Chiefs game yesterday?
There you go. I watched that, too. That was in the afternoon, wasn't it?
It was.
That got interesting, didn't it?
It did.
The Chiefs pulled it out. How'd they do that?
How did they pull it out?
Raiders never even got a chance at trying to kick the field goal there, did they?
The center, he snapped the ball too early, didn't he?
Wow, what a huge mistake that was for him, huh?
Giant mistake, right?
And then the Chiefs recovered, and that was that.
Right.
It's like the blocked field goal attempt that Denver had here a couple of weeks ago. Huh? These games going down to the wire, but the Chiefs keep winning. Outside of the Buffalo game,
right?
The Chiefs just keep winning.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more of Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products.
3.5 minutes, gentlemen. 3.5.
Priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Hey, this is Steven St. John, and if you're like me, your gutters are filled with leaves, dirt, and debris from all the rainstorms and high winds. You need to call Brian Donegan and his team at WeatherTech. Clogged gutters can create leaks in your roof or worse, foundation problems. Don't get on a ladder. Make the easy call to the roofing and gutter experts at WeatherTech Renovations today. One quick call to WeatherTech Renovations will save you down the road, I promise. Call WeatherTech Renovations, 816-988-8957, or online at WTRenovations.com. Do you have any discolored spots in your ceiling from the recent storms? This is Steven St. John. A small spot ignored over time can lead to big problems down the road. Tackle that problem now and contact the company I trust with my home, WeatherTech Renovations. Whether it's repair or complete replacement, Brian Donegan and his team at WeatherTech are the experts. They will get the job done and protect your largest investment, your home. Call WeatherTech Renovations, 816-988-8957, or online at WTRenovations.com.
From opening night to Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans, don't miss a second of the NFL this season. This is Kurt Warner of Westwood One. Join our crew each week for the best in primetime NFL action. Monday night, Sunday night, and Thursday night football. Plus marquee games on Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Christmas, and more. Westwood One is the exclusive radio home for every primetime and postseason game. It's right here.
Brought to you by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important.
90 seconds.
Past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know. I do know. My team knows injury law. We can help you understand all of your legal rights so that you don't get cheated.
DM Law knew what to do and got me $500,000.
Mike's got this. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
ICON is seeking healthy men and women ages 18 to 55 to participate in a clinical research study at our facility in Lenexa, Kansas. Non-smokers or light smokers allowed. Women must be of non-childbearing potential. Volunteers must be available for one stay of 9 nights and 3 outpatient visits. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $8,500 for time and travel. Call ICON today at 913-210-5900.
Strap yourself in.
30 seconds.
On ESPN Kansas City. Start the day with Michigan versus Ohio State at 11, followed by the Iron Bowl, Alabama and Auburn at 2:30. Those aren't the only big games this Saturday, though. Closer to home, you can wrap up your football Saturday with the Kansas Class 5A High School Football Championship with St. Thomas Aquinas battling Hayes at 7 o'clock. It's all Saturday on ESPN Kansas City 94.5 and 1510 AM.
Welcome back. It's Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. And don't forget, hour number 2, you can watch it on Facebook, you can watch it on YouTube, and you can watch it on RacingBoys.com as well. Kirk, you want to go into the live read for the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame Museum?
Well, we just want to remind everybody that the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame Museum's got a big giveaway coming up in about 3 weeks. Monday, December 23rd, will be the drawing for the Race Ready 410 Wing Sprint Car giveaway. You can sign up for that. You can win this car. It's a XXX chassis with an Al Parker Racing engine. A 410 race-ready wing sprint car. How about that? All you got to do is go to winasprintcar.com to get signed up. And if you put in the promo code HOLIDAY40, you get 40% more tickets. Go to winasprintcar.com. Monday, December 23rd is the drawing date, and they do this just once every 2 years. So we won't see this again until 2026. So this is a big deal if you want to get registered. winasprintcar.com. And there will be a Corvette giveaway again next year. This is a 2025 Corvette ZR1 with the ZTK Performance Package, plus $30,000 to the grand prize winner. This car has got over 1,000 horsepower. Powerful street machine. 5.5 LT7 twin turbocharged, what is that, DO8C V8 engine? Have you heard of that, Scott?
No, I haven't.
Carbon fiber wing, carbon fiber drive planes, competition yellow tri-coat metallic. This is a beauty. And the drawing is next August, 18th of August. That's 1 week after the Knoxville Nationals. And if you want to register for that, go to winacorvette.org. Winacorvette.org. And you can sign up for that. Of course, all the proceeds go to the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. It's open 7 days a week. It's just located right outside Turn 2 of the Knoxville Raceway. And they've got the new Dennis Allbaugh Suite Tower going up. That should be ready to have the grand opening about the time the opening night next April happens, which will be the World of Outlaws open the season next year at Knoxville. So they've already come far along with the construction of the Dennis Allbaugh Suite Tower, which looks almost like the Brian Clausen Suite Tower. The only difference is they don't have the observation deck on top of the Dennis Allbaugh Suite Tower.
Because of the cables.
A little closer to the power lines next to the road, I think is the reason why that is. But outside of that, it looks just like the Brian Clausen Suite Tower that's on the west side of the Hall of Fame. So got a lot of great things going on up there. If you're still thinking about doing your Christmas shopping, check out all the great items in the gift shop. Go to sprintcarstuff.com to see everything they've got up there. Some great gift ideas up there.
Did you hear Tony Stewart was named NHRA Rookie of the Year?
Well, I guess that stands to reason, doesn't it? He stepped into the seat of the top fuel dragster for his wife, Leah, who
had a baby.
Had the baby. She was pregnant with child, which they've now had. They've got the new baby now, and maybe Leah's going to jump back in her own car. I'm thinking that's now. Leah wants Tony to also have his own top fuel dragster so they could race each other, but when you hear Tony talk about it, he's a little bit hesitant about that. He's thinking, now this is her car. Do we want to spend more money to get another top fuel dragster out there? I don't know. Tony's a little bit hesitant about that, but we'll see if that happens.
He's a little tight.
Yeah. They've got the funny car with Matt Hagan, who's a 4-time NHRA champion, fell short of winning the championship this year, but Tony, he didn't win a race this year, but they'd had, I think it was more, from the performance end of things. I don't think Tony, as the driver, did anything wrong, that they just didn't have the performance part of it down with the top fuel dragster this year, which was more of the reason why he probably didn't win a race in his rookie year, but he was definitely the best rookie. Austin Prock, I don't know if you consider him a rookie or not, because I think he ran last year, but Austin Prock won the Funny Car Championship this year.
Brown, Prock, Anderson, Herrera, honored at NHRA.
Antron Brown, his 4th Top Fuel Championship with his own team. This is the first time that he's won the championship driving his own race car. So congratulations to Antron Brown. And also to Greg Anderson, who is now a 6-time champion.
Do you ever think that we'll see John Force race again?
I don't think so. What do you think?
I'm
you
not.
Think he'll come back and drive?
I don't think he will. I don't think he'll come back and drive.
Does he need to? He's 75 years old.
He's too old. Would you agree with that,
I think
Kurt?
everybody would be good with just watching John at the racetrack, being the team owner. I don't know if Robert Hight is going to step back in the funny car. Austin Prock driving the car that Robert Hight would normally drive. Would Robert Hight step back in his own car, then Austin Prock go drive John's car? I think that was the original plan, but I'm doubtful we'll see John back behind the wheel of a funny car. I don't think he needs to.
I don't think he needs to either. Tonight's Turkey Night, right, Kurt?
It is 98 laps around the Ventura Raceway tonight.
3rd Mile Racetrack.
It'll be fun to watch. I don't think it really matters where you start in this race, unless it's and I don't think the track's going to be as rough as we saw at Bakerfield the other night. I tuned in to a little bit of the practice session last night. Track looks great, just based on what little of the practice I saw last night. The weather is going to be fantastic in Ventura. They're calling for mid-60s, high of 70 today. Perfect weather, no chance of rain. Track looks in great shape. I think even if Kyle Larson doesn't get a good qualifying spot, he's still got plenty of time to work his way up from the back in a 98-lap race. But they still want to get good qualifying runs tonight for this race. But I think any driver can win from anywhere.
What do
It'll
you
be a
think
tough crowd. There's 27 rookies in the field tonight. I don't know how many of them are.
What do you think about
tonight.
Buddy Kofoid winning?
He's got a shot at it, for sure, driving Keith Kuhn's car. Absolutely he's got a shot. Carson Macedo's got a chance, the way he's been running. Cannon McIntosh is one you want to keep your eye on. I'm a little hesitant to say Dazen Pursley can do it because it just hasn't run all that well here over the last few weeks and months. I'll tell you another driver you want to watch out for. He just turned 19. Corey Day has got a shot at winning.
Don't count out
Turkey Night.
Ryan Timms. Do not count him out.
He can do it. Full-timer with Keith Kuhn's Motorsports. There's several guys here, but I think you still have to favor Larson to win it. He's still got to be the heavy favorite. Don't you think?
I'm not gonna bet on Kyle Larson because I think somebody else is going to win.
Larson is the defending winner of the race. He won this race last year. He's a 4-time winner of this event. If you look back through the all-time winners of Turkey Night,
Justin Grant, what do you think his chances are?
I don't think it's as good as what you think it should be because I don't think he's run all that well in his midget here recently, in recent events. I think Justin's got to pick up the performance. Now, he's a former winner of this event. He won this race 2 years ago, Justin Grant.
I think Tyler Thorson has got a shot to win.
Tanner Thorson's got a real good shot at winning it. He won at Bakersfield the other night. He's driving for Tom Malloy. Don't count out Tanner Thorson.
All right, thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810. Don't forget, you can watch hour number 2 on Facebook, YouTube, and racingboys.com as well. So we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB in a moment. Stay tuned. It died.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Jeff Montgomery here. If you're a man dealing with symptoms like frequent urination, multiple trips to the bathroom at night, or a weak urine stream, do what
I don't know what happened. That was weird.
What did he say happened there?
He never talked. Never heard him.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Here at Specialty Sportswear in-house, we do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
From the circle track to the drag strip to off-road racing, Rod End Supply has been keeping their customers at the front of the field since 1989. Whether you need rod ends, tubular rods, or specialty products, Bob Douglas and his Rod End Supply staff are always ready to help you with your needs. You can visit them on the web at rodendsupply.com or call them at 800-284-2902. That's 800-284-2902. Rod End Supply, keeping you at the front of the field.
When Steve died, the outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
RacinBoys.com wants you. If you own a business or have a product you'd like advertised, you can become an advertising partner with RacinBoys.com. Get your company's logo and information put on the fastest growing motorsports website. There are multiple advertising packages available for all budgets. If you'd like to advertise on RacinBoys.com, please contact Scott Traylor or Kirk Elliott at RacinBoys@RacinBoys.com and become a part of the team today.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum, and our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Hey, this is Larry the Cable Guy, and you're listening to Racing Boys, and if you ain't listening to them, you get out of the country because you're a communist. I love the Racing Boys. Like Mater says, they make me happier than a tornado in a trailer park. You know the funny thing about that is, the Larry voice and the Mater voice are exactly the same. Get her done!
It's time for America's most unique motorsports show, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome back. It's hour number 2 right here on Facebook, YouTube, and RacingBoys.com. Todd Surprise running the show as he does each and every week for us. And we can't thank him enough for doing so. Kirk Elliott, my partner for the last 25 years. Has it been 25 years, Kirk?
Almost 25 years. Next June, it'll be 25 years hanging out with.
25 years.
That's crazy.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that we've been together 25 years?
I didn't believe that it would happen when it first started, but now that it's over, yeah, I believe it. Sometimes, 25 years went by pretty quick, but there's been a lot of things that happened. Todd Surprise has been here through a lot of it, haven't you? How many years have you been here through?
12 years.
Yep. This is year 12. Started year 12, so
about half of it.
Half of it.
Hey, Todd, we
Yeah.
can't thank you enough for doing everything that you do for us.
I appreciate you saying that, my man. It's always fun.
Time flies when you're having fun.
It's coming down out there, guys. Up here in Gladstone, Missouri, the streets are already got.
It's covered.
They got tracks already in from where the car just went by. There's actual. It's going to be one of those days where I just saw an update.
Got to remember how to drive in winter weather.
Yes, sir. I just saw an
First
update.
time.
It said
Kirk,
there's a band where
Kirk is not good at driving in bad weather.
I am. As good as anybody else.
Kirk actually isn't that bad in the snow. I've never seen him. He's pretty cautious in the snow. It's
good as anybody else. Not as good as you, though, Scott. I'll say that.
I just know
you're better
that
than all of us.
This stuff out there right now, it's slick. It's real slick, and it's wet.
The overpasses and the bridges.
Yeah,
be careful.
But this is already like snowball feeling type of stuff out there. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of water in this snow, so big flakes.
They said last night on the news, Brian Busby said that there was only going to be 2 light dusting.
Yeah, well, they missed
an
it.
inch.
They missed it.
Was he wrong?
Everybody was wrong because they're saying now the new update. There's a pretty good band right across I-70, so. Everybody, like if you're below I-70, which would be south of I-70, you're pretty calm. But if you're just north of I-70 and north, you're getting shellacked right now, guys. I do know that.
I guess it is the 30th of November.
Tomorrow's December 1st, so I mean,
it happens, doesn't it?
We do know this does happen.
I want to remind everybody, coming up on Monday, mostly motorsports, we'll have Cannon McIntosh. And the only question is, will he be the USAC champion or not when he shows up on the show on Monday? He's 30 points behind Dason Pursley. And at Bakersfield the other night, Pursley finished in 12th place, and Cannon McIntosh was way higher up. And more times than not, McIntosh has cut into Dason Pursley's lead. So you think 30 points is close enough for Cannon to take that championship away from Dason Pursley tonight?
I think he's got a shot.
I think so, too.
Right.
I mean, Pursley's got to step it up in the CB Enterprises car. He hasn't run at a championship level over the last several events. So I'm saying Dazen's got to step it up.
Kirk, I said that Ventura was a third mile. It's a fifth mile.
Fifth mile.
Right.
Bull Ring. 98 laps around a fifth-mile racetrack tonight. Should be interesting. Flow Racing is where you can go to watch it. And, I was looking at all these events coming up. Flow Racing is carrying all the big events over the next several weeks, including tonight's Turkey Night Grand Prix, next weekend's Gateway Dirt Nationals. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday over at the Dome in St. Louis next weekend. Flow Racing will have that. And for the first time, the Snowball Derby will be on Flow Racing. How about that, Scott? Flow Racing is going to carry the Snowball Derby.
Flow Racing carries about everything, don't they?
That, and when you look ahead, the Tulsa Shootout and the Chili Bowl, all on Flow Racing. So they've got it all. So we'll be down at Tulsa. Can't wait for that. Chili Bowl, January 13th through the 18th, with a practice day on Sunday, January 12th.
Are you going down to the shootout?
I haven't decided yet. If the weather cooperates, probably so. Are you going down?
Yep, I'm going to go down for the shootout.
It's, January 1st through the 4th? I think that starts on the New Year's Day this year. So we'll be excited to watch all of that on Flow Racing coming up next weekend. I'm happy that Flow has got the Snowball Derby for the first time. So we can, I had to pay an extra subscription from another source to watch it the last few years. Don't have to do that this time.
Kirk, we had a chance to talk to Jamie Ball here recently.
Jamie is the reigning 360 Wing Sprint Car champion at the Knoxville Raceway. Last Saturday night at Prairie Meadows in Altoona, Iowa, they had the annual Knoxville Raceway Banquet. And Jamie Ball was up there celebrating with his team as a first-time champion in the 360 class at the Knoxville Raceway. Monday, we had Jamie Ball on our Mostly Motorsports show, and here's a little bit of that conversation.
Hey, man, you won the championship by 242 points. That's a pretty big gap right there, isn't it?
Yeah, you can only get 360 as a perfect night, and you get 100 points for showing up. So 260 would be the most you could really earn over a guy. So we kind of had a pretty good point total there ahead going into nationals, and it definitely took a lot of the stress away and was able to kind of cruise the last couple nights.
Hey, when you beat a guy like Clint Gardner, that's a really big accomplishment, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. He's won 9, I think, out of the last 14 years or something like that. And, he's been a mainstay in the class and kind of set the standard. And really, we kind of picked up our game a little bit just by racing with the Aaron Reitzel, Chase Randall, Garrett Williamsons of the world, and kind of sent us to a different level running 410 as well.
Hey, talk about running against Aaron Reitzel. Man, he won a lot of races up there this year, didn't he?
He did. I think he won 6 or 8 maybe. And, he was definitely always the guy to beat. And, we were only able to win 1, but we were up front a lot. And it's as much as it's not fun getting beat by him, you know that it pays dividends when you go other places or later on in your career to just have the competition raised like it has and like he's done.
Are you a little disappointed that you only had 1 win this year?
Yeah, I had a second one slip out of my hands when I smacked the wall leading. I was up by about 3 seconds in, I think it was June, at the Outlaw Show, and felt like I was going so slow I needed to move off the bottom, go to the top, and ended up crashing while leading. So should have had 2. Definitely would have loved more, but like we said with Reitzel, he's a top 5 talent in the world that was racing double duty like we were, and he's tough to beat, but it kind of helped lead us to the championship and the gap that we had to kind of take the stress out of it.
Hey, Jamie, this Kirk, congratulations. That win you had was before that. It was Friday night over the doubleheader weekend when they had the non-wing cars up there. Talk about you outran Reitzel that night. Talk about that win.
Oh, that one was amazing. It was truthfully probably short of 360 Nationals the hardest competition night of the year because there was no 410s that night. The 360 was the support class to USAC. And, I mean, it had the likes of Chase Randall, Aaron Reitzel, I think both McCarls, or all three McCarls probably, and then the local guys as well. So it was crazy. It was, I don't know, sometimes there's just those nights where it just feels right and everything goes your way, and no matter what happens, you come out on top. And like I said a little bit in a few interviews, I started training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu over the winter, and it just taught me a lot of setting up your next move and breathing, calming down, and trying to strategically plan the race. And that race was one of the first times that I was able to utilize that and just kind of take what was given to me and set things up a few laps before it happened, and it made me feel like a real racer for a night.
Jiu-Jitsu, talk about that a little bit, and does it make you feel like you have more strength when you're driving the race car?
Strength, yeah, but really I'd say it's more mental. I have no wrestling background, nothing like that, and knowing that we were going to do double duty this year, I figured I needed to get out of my comfort zone and do something different if I wanted different results versus how things had went in my career in the past, and was just ready to step up a notch, I guess. And through jiu-jitsu, I joke with my instructor, David Robbins at Pello BJJ, that racing and jiu-jitsu is pretty much the same thing, whether it be a guy throwing a slider at you at 100 mile an hour or somebody trying to choke you out or break your arm. You got to think on the fly, and you got to be composed and strategically set things up. So it's really something that's given me a lot of discipline in life, both on and off the track.
What gym you training out of? Might as well give them a shout out.
Pello BJJ. They were just over here in Pella, Iowa, about 15 miles away from the track, and just a small little gym, about 100 guys, but everybody's there doing it for the love of it and to better themselves. And being around like-minded people is great. They just got nonprofit status, so they're just out here trying to
Very cool.
help people be able to defend themselves and get on a little bit healthier path in life.
Hey, let me ask you this. Is there any chance that you're going to go 410 racing next year?
Not for points anyway. We're going to do double duty like we have. The way my life's set up, I don't have a whole lot of extra time, so doing double duty at Knoxville is a nice way that I can get double the races in, but in a single calendar night. I think we had 38 races at Knoxville last year, and the nice part, we were able to do it in 17 nights. So I work two jobs at Higherview Enterprises and at Remax Precision, selling equipment and houses, and it's all I can do to afford to get to the track financially and as well as time-wise. And then we have a child on the way due in February, so things are only about to get harder.
Congratulations.
But, we're looking forward to it.
You're going to be a father for the first time? Is that for the first time?
Yes, sir. Yep, February 5th is the due date, so we're about 30 weeks along right now, and looking forward to that and the life changes that will come along with it. But we still plan to run 360 points and 410 for the money, and the way Knoxville's putting up $6,000 to win and $1,000 to start this year, it's hard not to run 410.
Boy, it's great timing in the off season like that, Jamie. That's good timing.
Yeah, God's timing's always better than mine. It's wasn't the way I planned it, but in the end, it sure worked out well.
That win you had up there, that was the first one you had, about 3 years?
Yeah, it was quite the drought. Like I said, with the competition that we've been up against here lately, with Chase Randall as the track champ last year, and him, Garrett Williamson, and Reitzel doing double duty, it was wins were pretty hard to come by. And as you could see, just getting the one win this year, they were still hard to come by. So we take them when we can get them, but proud of the 10 that we have so far in my career here at Knoxville.
Well, you had a great crowd of people up there at the bat. Tell us about that banquet the other night. How fun was that?
Oh, it was truly one of the best nights of my life. I had 34 people come with me at our four tables and celebrate our accomplishments, and I think Jim Udemark said there was 550 total in attendance. So it's just it's a testament to how great Knoxville Raceway is. They put on, in my opinion, probably the most top-notch quality banquet out of all of sprint car racing, say High Limit or the Outlaws. It's just it's at a great venue where the entertainment's great and all the amenities are wonderful, and under one roof with the casino and the hotel and the banquet hall, and close to the track, close to the airport, and just it's nice to take all your guys and celebrate with them, dress up, do something you don't normally do for a night, and just enjoy a little bit of stress-free fun.
Jamie, you grew up in Knoxville. How big was that? Did you always want to be a racer? Were you always exposed to the racetrack, even when you can remember?
I was bitten by the race bug at an extremely young age. I think my first nationals was when I was 5 years old. I can vividly remember when Mark Kinzer drove into the back of Sammy off turn 4 at nationals there. And I've basically been hooked ever since. I went to college in Des Moines, but did day, night, and online classes and got a bachelor's degree in 2 years and 9 months because my dad told me that as soon as I graduated, we could go sprint car racing. And I overloaded and went crazy on school so that I could do that. And honestly, I've never lived out of the zip code 50138 because of Knoxville Raceway. So to win that championship and just to be here racing in general is truly a dream come true. I mean, I sat in the stands in Section J. I helped my dad growing up when he raced from 1998 to 2006, and Knoxville is where I want to be. It's my home, it's my community, and it means a lot to me, both the racetrack and the people and the businesses as a whole.
How cool is that? You don't have many travel expenses. You're right there in town. You don't have to travel far to get to the races. How cool is that?
Oh, it's awesome. We joke that we could put one tank of diesel in for the whole year and be able to get to every single night of racing in Knoxville. So
right,
we're definitely blessed. My in-laws own our race shop here, Ralph and Terry Wren from Texas, and we're a mile and a half from the track. We have one of the nicest shops in the country, and truthfully, I'd put our team up against about anybody, and nobody gets paid. We're all volunteer and do it for fun. So we're very happy.
Have you ever thought about going back to the ASCS National Sprint Car Tour?
I'll be completely honest. No, not at all.
Why? Why would you do that? Yeah, you've got it all right there at home.
Truthfully, my wife and I joke that I barely even like going on vacation. I enjoy my life so much from day to day that I enjoy what I do, selling equipment. I get to work with my dad, uncle, and cousin. I enjoy selling houses and seeing something different there every day. And we have a bunch of animals, horses, dogs, a goat that lives in the house, cat, chickens, and then a baby on the way. So I pretty much get to freelance my whole week every week and do whatever I need, whatever's prioritized at that point. And I enjoy racing, but short of racing a time or two a week, I don't really have any aspirations past that. I don't think I'd enjoy it like I maybe once did just because I have so much going on, but it's a blessing to have all that we do.
So you're a realtor. Is that what you do for a living?
So technically my first job would be managing Higher-View Enterprises, where we sell commercial equipment like bucket trucks, digger derricks, trenchers, trailers. And then my side hustle would be real estate. I sell about $2 million total a year volume-wise of real estate, and I joke that about 150% of my real estate incomes goes back to the race cars. So it's just a way to supplement income to be able to justify spending what we do week to week, and luckily we have a lot of great sponsors that help pick up some of the expenses as well, but we have a pretty nice team for 2 or 3 different people that own portions of it, but it gets us there and keeps us doing it as family, and nobody tells us what to do, and we get to do it all together for the fun of it.
Are you glad you did race away from Knoxville for a period of time to really realize just what a special place Knoxville is? I mean, you grew up there. Those of us from the outside, I consider it a second home of mine. I love Knoxville. But did it take going out and racing elsewhere to really realize how special a place Knoxville is?
Yes and no. I mean, like I said, I've worshipped Marion County Fairgrounds for my whole life, so I've always known what we had, but you do find a new level of appreciation for, simple things. The concession stand, the bathrooms, the track prep, the officials, the feeling of it, nothing against a few of the tracks ASCS go to, but they're smaller tracks. They're, not as glorious and nice and well taken care of as Knoxville. And it just feels a little different. But you come into Knoxville and walk through those pit gates, it doesn't matter if it's a local show or nationals, it just, there's just an aura to it. And it's just, to put it bluntly, it's just special. And going out on the road definitely shows you what you have or what you're missing. And we always laughed. I'm like, I don't know why we're 18 hours away here on a rain out in Pennsylvania when Knoxville's racing right now, and we're sitting at an Applebee's watching it on Dirt Vision. It's just kind of crazy, but we're glad we did ASCS National Tour back in the day. It taught me that, and then the intensity level is kind of where my race career picked up by racing with those guys, because my first National Tour race, I think I ran like 13th and raced with Brad Loyette and Derek Hagar, and I came in and told my dad, I'm like, these guys are trying to kill each other out here. I'm like, I don't know what the heck they're doing. We're racing for 13th.
Right.
Hey, there's a special pride that community has for Knoxville Raceway, doesn't it? It's unlike anywhere else you go. The whole town embraces that racetrack, doesn't it?
Yeah, they really do. You know, Knoxville's been a staple here for, I think that was the 69th season that we just finished up here. And, you know, Knoxville, short of having a few manufacturing facilities, wouldn't have a whole lot going on tourist-wise, or, you know, people coming here for attractions if it wasn't for the track. So it means a lot, and people know what it means. I mean, you would be amazed, too, of the amount of people that have never been there that live there their whole life. I mean, probably half the kids I graduated with back in 2008 never went to the races their whole life. So we're still out here trying to make new fans. I know we've made 10 or 15 people at Celebrate Church that we go with into race fans that were never before race fans at all. But it just takes a little bit of personal touch. I think a lot of the drivers that people could reach out a little bit more to their sphere of influence and get people going, because when you know somebody at the races, whether you're a race fan or not, it means a little more and makes going more fun.
I know this, when they get there for the first time, they're hooked. I know a lot of people that have been there, and they see how special it is.
Absolutely. It's so entertaining and so fast-paced compared to every other form of motorsports that I always joke, if I can get you to the track, I'll make you a fan.
There you have it, Jamie Ball, 360 Sprint Car champion up at Knoxville Raceway.
Good guy.
Good guy.
Yeah, he's you spent time with him when he was out there full-time on that ASCS tour. He's
right,
very likable guy, and congratulations on his championship this year. Also to Austin McCarl, who won his second straight 410 championship, and Mike Mayberry.
When are we going to get Austin McCarl on?
Championship.
When are
we had him on last summer before the Nationals, if you remember. We had a pretty good conversation with Austin, his thoughts about the format at the Knoxville Nationals and all that. We'll get him back on soon. He's always a great guest. So we'll try to get Austin on the air one of these future shows. They have a new program at Knoxville this year. Kaiser Wheels has come up with a deal this year, Scott, for the Knoxville Raceway, where it's going to be a bonus. If you win the Knoxville Nationals, I think it already pays $75,000 to win. I'm not exactly sure what the total payout is. But if you run Kaiser Wheels at the Knoxville Nationals this year and you win the Nationals, you can get a $100,000 bonus on top of the winnings that you already get for winning the Nationals up there. That's Kaiser Wheels putting that up there for next year at the Knoxville Raceway.
And that's a good incentive, isn't it?
Yeah. That is. That's a lot of money.
Hey, my dog's trying to talk to you.
Bristol. Do you name Bristol after Bristol Speedway?
Bristol Motor Speedway.
Bristol Motor Speedway. How cool
we
is
brought
that?
the dog home that night, and the Bristol race was on, and we named her Bristol.
She's a cool dog. I like Bristol. Hey, I was looking at the practice times last night at Turkey Night. Jacob Denny had the fastest practice time of everybody at the Ventura Raceway last night. But Dazen Pursley, it's hard to go by practice times from a practice session, but they were out there several times last night. And Jacob Denny driving a Tom Malloy-owned car, same owner that Tanner Thorson wheeled to victory at Bakersfield the other night. Corey Day was number 2, driving a Kane number 4. Dazen Persley, number 3, drives for Chad Boat Industries. Cannon McIntosh in the Keith Coons Motorsports car was 4th quick last night. Buddy Kofoid, number 5. Ryan Timms, 6. Emerson Axum, 7. In the practice runs last night at Ventura. Ty Gibbs, we talked about him making an entry into the field. He was 31 out of 56 out of 50. 31 out of 50. Not too bad. He's driving a Chad Boat car. So Ty Gibbs getting his feet wet out there at Ventura. We'll see how he does tonight. He was just one spot back on the practice chart from Kyle Busch, his Joe Gibbs Racing, former Joe Gibbs Racing guy. Kyle Busch now drives for Richard Childress in the Cup Series. So Kyle Busch driving the 51 beat car, that's his own car.
Was it a disappointing year for Kyle Busch?
Yeah, he didn't win a race. Did not win a race for the first time his whole career. So, yeah, I think the closest he came was out here at Kansas Speedway. He had the lead at Kansas and had a problem there with a few laps to go. I think he would have won that race out here, but couldn't pull it off. So, yeah, I think it would be a disappointing year for Kyle Busch, not having won a race this year. So we'll see if he can turn that around next year. Kyle Larson in practice last night wasn't all that quick when you compare it to, when you look at where you think he probably should have been last night. Maybe he was just, maybe he didn't care about that. Just go out there, shake the car down, and leave it at that. So I don't know how much you can read into these practice times last night. I think you read into it more with the rookies and see how fast they are right out of the gate. But for somebody like Kyle Larson, who wasn't among the top runners in practice last night, I don't think that means he's not going to win the race tonight. I still think you have to favor him to win. Again, his 5th. That would be his 5th Turkey Night Grand Prix if we're able to pull it off. The question I have, if Joe Gibbs Racing allows these drivers now to run all the dirt races now, why in the world wouldn't 3-time winner Christopher Bell come to the Turkey Night Grand Prix? If Ty Gibbs is allowed to run,
maybe Christopher.
Why don't we see Christopher Bell there?
Maybe Christopher's got family things going on for holidays, and he didn't know that they didn't have a car ready.
Maybe we'll see him at the Chili Bowl.
We might see him down there,
where he's a 3-time winner of the Chili Bowl.
Trying to maybe throw another golden driller up.
Christopher Bell's won more Chili Bowls than Kyle Larson. Larson, 2-time winner. And if Christopher Bell shows up and wins at Chili Bowl, he would tie Kevin Swindell with 4 wins. Sammy's got the most wins at the Chili Bowl with 5. So, anyway, we talked a lot about 410 sprint car racing and what, the All-Stars are coming back next year. Larson and Sweet are bringing back the All-Stars. They've already started putting dates out there. But also filling the void for 410 sprint car racing is Kenny Brown's 410 Wings Sprint Car Series. Don't you think, Scott, that what Kenny Brown has got going on right now? He's got a new sponsor, Honest Abe Roofing. They put out a big program to try to incentivize drivers to run it full-time next year. A pretty good plan they put out there with the Elite 16 for the POWRi 410 series.
Maurice says that Bell hasn't said anything on his Facebook page yet about running the Chili Bowl.
So we don't know. We're just speculating.
Right.
We'll see. But he's got the green light to do it, right? He's got permission to go run the Chili Bowl. So we'll see if he takes up that offer. So Kenny Brown is the owner of Power Eye, and he developed this 410 Wing Sprint Car Series a couple of years ago. And now they've got a big-time sponsor, Honest Abe Roofing, and they have a big plan. They haven't come out with a schedule yet. What they say, Scott? They're about a week and a half away from putting out a schedule for 2025.
Yep.
So we should see that here in another week or so. And Kenny Brown was on our Mostly Motorsports show on Monday to talk about the Elite 16 program that they got going on with Honest Abe Roofing and the Power Eye 410 Wing Sprint Car Series. And here is part of that conversation from earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports. Let's talk about this Elite 8. We touched on a little bit before we brought you on. The Elite 16 program. A lot of perks to lure full-timers to this series here. We run through some of this, but just how's this all going to work out as far as bringing in that this raises the series to a new level, does it not?
Yeah, that was the intent, and Kevin, when we met with Kevin, we said, we'd like to go to the next level, but we just need some partnership to help us get there, and Kevin agreed to help us and went in there and showed him our ideas and what we thought, how we could help grow his business, how he could help us grow. And we came together and formed the Elite 16, and I think that'll be a great opportunity for the drivers. This will give us a chance to have some regular drivers racing with us all the time, and we're excited to be able to do this.
What's the response been so far? Have you already gotten some big response to this?
Yeah, we've had several thousand views on it, and several drivers called. We have a list of names, and now we would not take anyone yet and sign them up until we release the schedule. So we're about a week and a half now that the high limit schedule's out, the World Outlaw schedule's out, gives us an opportunity to go make sure we're not scheduling on top of them when they're in our backyard. It's tough to compete with them, and it's not fair to the fans and the drivers. This way they get an opportunity to go run a national series.
Kenny, let's talk about Lake Ozark Speedway. I know that you own that racetrack, and there's a lot of excitement built around. Listen, when I go down to Lake Ozark Speedway, you have the most amount of 410 sprint cars ever down there, and it's really a good thing for your track down there, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'd love to run weekly, especially with our stock car program. I enjoy watching the late models and the super stocks and modifieds and all those classes that we currently sanction in the state of Missouri. The challenge is, though, the lake is almost like a destination track. It's not like a Central Missouri Speedway or a Springfield Raceway. The weekly racing just doesn't do real good there because most of the people that go to the lake, everyone thinks you have a huge population to draw from at the lake, and really people go to the lake to go to the lake. They're coming down for the weekend. They're certainly don't have the dirt track on their mind. Now, we've lured some fans from the lake, but it's pretty difficult. We've tried 3-4 years trying to figure out ways to get them. Having said that, when you run sprint cars, your sprint car drivers don't all live local like your stock car drivers do, and the fans come from all over. So when I bought the track, we knew we wanted to make it a sprint car track, and it proved to me that after running sprint cars and specials, it really works out, and we get a good draw. The other thing is it's a great track for sprint cars. It's a 1/3 mile high bank, and it's got you don't have to have enormous amount of horsepower to compete, but you got to have good horsepower. It's not a half mile or anything like that. So the competitors are pretty competitive with each other with the equipment they have.
We had JT Imperial on. He won the Desert Wing Series out there in the desert. Talk about JT Imperial a little bit.
Well, he's been great to have, and our Desert Wing Series is doing really good out there. We're trying to bridge the gap. I can't really speak a lot on his talent other than the fact that, we've got New Mexico. We're working with some Texas and Oklahoma stuff, but that's in our 360 division, which we used to have pretty strong here in Missouri. And, of course, our goal was to get it to 410s. So, where he's running out there in New Mexico, and Vado is one of our home tracks out there, that's a tough group of competition right there.
Hey, let me ask you, is the 410 series stronger than the 360 series? 360 racing has kind of went on the back burner a little bit. Would you agree with that?
Well, I think there's still 360s in Missouri, but unfortunately, I didn't want to compete against ASCS or do anything that, it was pretty much an open door there for me to walk in if I wanted to. So we created the 410 series right before COVID hit. And then it was tough for us to get out of the box because the next year when COVID did hit, we had to cancel all our races. We couldn't race. We couldn't get tires. We had numerous amounts of challenges, but we've overcome it the next couple of years, not getting as many races as we wanted. But we also had to grow the brand and show the tracks that when we do come to race, the stands are full and we've got full car counts. So, I don't know if it would be fair. It would, because there really was no 360 series locally.
Right.
It was more ASCS Nationals, and we've offered them an opportunity to race at the racetrack as well. Whether they come or not, I don't know, but we've offered them a date if they'd like it. So I still like 360 racing, and I think there's 360s out there that can compete on the smaller tracks with a 410. And we have that every once in a while at the lake. They come, but for the most part, I think what's hurt the 360s is probably the cost of it. That the motors are about the same as the 410, and the 410s pay better. So the drivers, and the crew chiefs need to choose what they want to do.
We were just talking to Jamie Ball here a little bit ago, and anyway, we were talking about the price of the motors. The price of the motors went up when the Ford motor came in with the aluminum block and the aluminum heads. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think anytime you introduce an aluminum block and all that, it's definitely going to go up, So, I don't know what drives the cost that much high. I mean, if you think about it, a 360 has the same stuff a 410 has, so it makes sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where are you at with the POWRi Midget Series now? What's the future of that look like?
Well, we work a lot mainly with World Racing Group with our Challenge Series, and honestly, the midgets it's been a tough road the last couple of years because the engine prices are so high with that as well.
I see you got a high limit date set for June 25th at Lake Ozark Speedway. That's a return visit from a year. That was a great show last year, by the way, over there.
Oh man, it was very good, and look forward to having them guys. And we work really well with them. We co-sanction quite a few races with them, and they want us there, obviously to get our cars, but also the fans, and it works well working with them.
Hey, I don't know if you know this or not, but Rod End Supply is the title sponsor to our show, and we promote the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, our Midwest Lightning Sprints, we used to have 4 or 5 groups, and there's only 4 or 5 groups in the country, and we had them all together, and they're tough to keep together because they're club driven. And when something's club driven, what happens is we all agree on something this year, and then a new board comes in, a new president, and they all have their own ideas. And it was getting really difficult. on to keep the groups together. As far as Rod End Supply and Bob's group, he and I have got along well, and he's a sponsor, and we work well with them, and we really support the Midwest Lightning Sprints. It's just a challenge to get that series to grow, just like anything else. The cost of those cars, the cost of the engines, drivers get into it as a stepping stone, a startup series, and they quickly step out of it and jump up to either a midget or a sprint car. But that group does real well right here in the Midwest.
So do you anticipate more dates on the 410 wing calendar than what you had last year?
We're
about the
shooting
same?
for about, our goal is to have about 30 to 40 races. We lose about 15% of the races to rainouts, which will get us to about 34. And that amount of races is a good number, regardless whether you schedule 10 or 15, you need 2 motors. So it doesn't really matter it matters when I get to a certain number where they're rebuilding 2 engines. We don't want that. We want them to be able to have 2 engines to run the series. But that 34 counts a good number to be at for a point fund like what we're offering.
I know we're about a week and a half out from the release of the schedule. Do you anticipate new racetracks coming on board, or it'd be about the same?
No, we've got some new racetracks. We're actually excited. This thing's opened up and tracks want us. We've got some midday races just because we're in between both the Outlaws and High Limit and trying to take advantage of the drivers. But for the most part, yeah, we're going to have some new tracks on there.
There you have it, Kenny Brown, the owner of the POWRi series.
I'm excited to see that schedule that's coming out. There's more races on the schedule than what they've had, and some new tracks coming on board. I think he's got something going on now. That sponsorship, Honest Abe Roofing, is a big deal for his POWRi series, don't you think?
No, I would agree with that, Kurt.
So we'll see how many full-timers they get on that series this year. I think it does fill a void. You need, these big, the High Limit and World of Outlaws need these smaller regional series to help with car count. I know that, the All-Stars are coming back too, so I think that helps with car count because not every 410 racing team can travel the whole country and travel either the World of Outlaw or High Limit. They don't have the funds to do that, but you still need the car counts when you do come into the area. And, what do you have? I think the High Limit had, 17 full-timers last year?
17 full-timers last year.
More than 17 to have a race. So,
hey, Kirk,
you got to have these regional series.
You were just talking about 11 was enough to have a full-time series.
Well, that's about, the World of Outlaws, a dozen drivers? That's not been out of the norm for a lot of years now. But you got to have regional series, and the guys that race an open schedule, guys like Brian Brown, for
Kirk,
instance.
you were talking about MLRA having 11 guys in the series.
They did, which is normal for a touring series. 11 is not out of the norm for a full-time touring series. I'm not sure you could expect more than that to run every race in a touring series, would you?
No. I would agree with you.
But this is where the POWRi 410 and the All-Stars are very important to 410 sprint car racing because you need places for these guys to race on a regional basis.
That episode was number 338, if you want to go back.
338?
Yep, and that was episode 338. David Gravel, Jamie Ball, and Kenny Brown. And each one of those interviews was about another 10 minutes long, so there was some stuff in there if you want to go back and
listen to the entire interview.
We'd appreciate it if you would. Go back, listen to it, download it. It's already gotten quite a few downloads already for compared to some of our other ones. So we know David Gravel was and Jamie Ball were both good conversations, and Kenny Brown had some good information as well. So, like you said, if you want to go back and listen to that, or if you missed hour 1 with that David Gravel interview, that's up there on anywhere you get your podcast. And episode 339, Monday morning, as long as the snow don't rose above the house, we'll be here.
I think we'll be all right
Hey.
by Monday. We have
just so you know, it is snowing its ass off out there in front of the house.
First big snow of the year.
Kirk, you got to be careful driving home.
We're going to wrap up the show, Tad.
You don't have
early,
to
and
drive home. You are home.
I am
you
home.
You don't have to worry about it.
I don't have to drive anywhere.
It's already made its way past down south. It's already in Overland Park now, so the whole metro area, if you're listening here in Kansas City, if you're elsewhere, I know Pennsylvania got some pretty good snow up towards Pennsylvania. They had some pretty deep stuff. New York was getting rained on. I don't know if you used to watch the Thanksgiving Day parade. They were getting...
Travel could be an issue for people getting back home from Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. So my stepdad, I dropped him off at the airport yesterday. He was heading to Florida. And then I'm picking up a couple people on the airport on the 3rd, too. So I'm sure, like you said, if you have people coming in today will be, I'm sure there's probably not nothing with the flights as far as landing, but maybe taking off. You know what I mean? They usually get that landing thing pretty cleared off up there, but
tomorrow's going to be okay though.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's just going to be cold, but this is
the biggest travel day of the year.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's not only traveling, you got a lot of shopping. Today's the Saturday after, everybody that doesn't do the Black Friday thing is out there shopping, so we know it's a little just be careful out there when you're running around. Those parking lots are going to be really slick.
Right.
Because parking lots, they're not hitting the parking lots today. I can't imagine they're out there working the parking lots. That's usually something they have to wait until the cars are gone. So
it's best just to load up and watch football the rest
absolutely.
of the weekend.
You have a good weekend at home and just chill.
And turkey night coming up tonight on Flow.
If you have any leftovers, it'd be a good day to break the leftovers out, right?
All right.
Hey, I was going to say episode 339, you mentioned on Monday, Cannon McIntosh, Casey Schumann, who's the general manager of I-70 Speedway, and we're working on Ricky Thornton Jr. I'm not sure about him yet, but I'm working on it. Or somebody else that we don't know about yet. That's all coming up Monday. We'll stream it live at 12 noon, as we always do on Monday, and so we hope you tune in for that.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB and RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network.
You're going to cut out early so Todd and I can start our trek home,
That's
right?
Right.
Everybody get a little...
We appreciate that.
Yep. It's one of those days. Get in and get out, right?
I don't have to deal with it.
You'll be dealing with it with that dog. You're going to be taking that dog out here in a minute.
Right.
So you'll be...
She likes the snow, though, right?
She does.
Yeah, more than you do, probably. So, like you said.
More than I do.
Well, drive careful out there, everybody.
That's right. Be careful. Slow and steady wins the race. This ain't a race like we cover every Saturday. This is the slow and steady race. If you get home undamaged and everything's intact, then you've won.
I feel like it's a great day if I make it home safe and sound.
Absolutely.
All right.
Today's the day.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. For Todd Surprise, for Kirk Elliott, I'm Scott Traylor saying thanks for joining us here on Track Talk. We'll see you on Monday, Mostly Motorsports. It starts at 12 noon Central Time and goes to 2 o'clock. And we'll see you then right here on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network.
Rock and roll.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.